It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Brad Miller as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives here in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. Good to have you in studio with us today. Our guest today was here a couple of years ago. His name's Barry Allan. He's with the Oak Creek Watershed Council. And if you remember back a couple of years ago, which you may not, there was the group was going to go out and try to locate the sources of E. coli contamination in Oak Creek Canyon within Oak Creek. And so Barry and his group have been at it for a couple of years now, and you've come up with a report. So we thought we'd get you back in studio to bring us up to speed. How are you?
I appreciate that, Paul. I'm doing fine, and
it's good to see you.
Happy to be back. Yeah, good to see you, too.
All right, so give me kind of a rundown. When and why was the Oak Creek Watershed Council formed? Well,
it was a process was started in about 1994 by the ADEQ, and they had a fellow come up on staff and talk to people around the community, and so out of that there was it turned into a group, and then out of that it was called the Oak Creek Canyon Task Force, and so that evolved probably around 2000, and evolved into a different type of group. It just kept on kind of growing. ADEQ decided they were not going to facilitate the group anymore, and so some of us community-minded citizens stepped up to the plate and took it on a little bit further. So in 2003 we became a nonprofit, carried on with the name, but we were really focused on Oak Creek Canyon because that's where essentially most of the problems with E. coli were happening at the time. And so we changed our name in 2010 to the Oak Creek Watershed Council, and decided that there was more to our area than Oak Creek Canyon, and so we became a full watershed group.
Now, red flag, you said back in 1994. Was the red flag at the time, and I'm not sure if I can remember doing stories back in 94 on this, but I know I have over the years where there are certain times, especially in the warm summer months, where Slide Rock State Park, you just aren't allowed to be in the water because the E. coli contamination. Maybe we should have you describe what E. coli contamination is.
Well, E. coli is actually an indicator of fecal contamination. Okay. So in itself, it's not the contamination thing, but fecal contamination is a health hazard. And what basically happens at Slide Rock is that there's some swimming holes above Slide Rock, and there are sediment comes down. E. coli settles into the sediment. People jump into the water. It just stirs up the sediment flows through Slide Rock, and bang, you have a problem. And so there's a certain toleration that ADEQ have for E. coli, a standard. But when it exceeds that standard, then they just shut it down at Slide Rock.
It becomes a major health hazard.
Because it becomes a major health hazard.
That's pretty scary. You're out there swimming in Oak Creek, and all of a sudden,
well, it's
it's a place you wouldn't expect to have an E. coli contamination issue because it is such a pristine area. I drive through it twice a week, and I see something new every week I drive through. I love Oak Creek Canyon. But it's really sad that there are days and moments in the day where all of a sudden the water is dangerous to be in because of human and animal waste.
To the extent, I think, too, that once that passes through and they shut it down, it's already gone through. So it's kind of an after the event.
Sure.
But anyway, and so the government has basically spent millions of dollars on various little studies and grants, and the last one that was done was by Dr. Gordon Southam, who was a member of our task force, and he was a microbiologist up at NAU, and so he came to the conclusion that it was basically wild animals, animals of the forest, that were causing most of the fecal contamination. And so He also mentioned that, of course, there was the public were involved too, but that was the basis of his report. He did that through DNA testing too. Mm-hmm. So the government basically, when I say the government, I'm referring to the EPA, the federal Environmental Protection Agency, and the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality. The EPA, through the Clean Water Act, gives ADEQ some X number of dollars on a yearly basis, and then ADEQ turns around and decides where they're going to spend that money. So they had a program when we first started out in October of 2009. They had a program that was they picked 3 watersheds in Arizona, mm-hmm. and they were targeted watersheds, and Oak Creek Watershed was one of them. So what they basically wanted to do, they were tired of spending all of this money and basically not getting any bang for the buck. And so they wanted a complete, comprehensive plan of Oak Creek, from the headwaters up in Fry's Canyon down to the confluence of the Verde River, which is about 50 miles long. And they wanted us to develop a comprehensive plan that would isolate the problems, tell them what was wrong, and then come up with some solutions. So there were basically 2 phases to the plan.
Did you come up with those?
Yes, we have. I'm very proud to tell you that this is 168 pages of the Oak Creek Watershed Improvement Plan. It's called the OC WIP. And
public can see that, right?
Yes,
it's posted on your website?
Can. Yes, on our website.
Okay.
And at www.oakcreekwatershed.org.
Okay.
And so we have found problems. There's no smoking gun. Basically, the problems stem from wildlife, from human feces, fecal coliform from a number of areas. There's the possibility of septic tank problems, mm-hmm. and possibly even stormwater, pollution from stormwater. But this is all in the plan, and I would urge all of your viewers to go to a website and have a look at it.
And you've got a comment period deadline of July 31st, right? On
we
that
do.
Plan?
Yes,
okay.
We do. This is a public review period. The plan was finished on June 30th, and we've designated July, the whole month of July, and we have a meeting actually in just a couple of days on Thursday at the Sedona Public Library. And we will be going over a PowerPoint presentation of the plan, and we invite the public to attend that, and that starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. So
okay.
Registration will be at 9:40.
We have to take a break.
All right.
Barry Allan with the Oak Creek Watershed Council in studio today. I'm Paul David. The website is oakcreekwatershed.org. That's where you can take a look at the plan. Comment period ends on the 31st. Barry mentioned they do have a meeting coming up this Thursday at the Sedona Public Library. It starts at 10 a.m. You can get there by 9:40. Doors will open, and more will be explained at that point in time, too. Countywide is going to take a 2-minute break. We'll be right back in just a minute.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born, and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
I think someone at my friend's school has this thing called autism. My friend's brother's son has autism.
My neighbor's son has autism. My son has autism.
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 110 children is diagnosed with autism. That's a 600% increase in the last 20 years. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Danse, balance la cadence, ondule bien tes hanches, au bal du dimanche. Danse, que la fête commence. Dans ma belle...
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.